Welcome back to the Delusionals podcast. So I've been joined today by my special guest, Gary Bennett. How you doing, Gary?
Yeah, good, thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Mr. C.
All good, all good. So Josh can't be with us today. He is living it up in LA. He's out going to all the theme parks, I believe, or something. Have you ever been to any of the theme parks in LA, Gaz?
Part-time, no, not LA. I've only been to sunny Florida.
Oh, right, nice. I've been to... Or maybe he's gone to Florida. Maybe that's the one. Maybe I've got that completely wrong.
Where's the commitment? Where's the commitment, James? Who wants to go to sunny LA, California, or...
I have no idea, right? I have no idea. I've been to Disneyland Paris. That's about it when it comes to abroad theme parks.
Yeah, me too. I went there first. The first time I ever went there, and it just rained for 4 days. Brilliant.
Oh, grim.
Yeah.
Was everything closed?
No, most of it was open, but mate, you're just wet, so you think it's about as fun as what I've been in Aston.
We'll get onto that because that is not a great place to be. So today is going to be a bit of a kind of like a Villa focused podcast since Gary is a... How long have you had a season ticket now, Gaz?
15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, about 15 years.
I think I've only held one technically for 3. I think this is my first full season though, because I've moved closer to Aston, so I can actually go to most of the games. But
true supporter, mate. True supporter.
Yeah, I try my best. I'm better than Pete. Pete's a fair weather fan.
Yeah, to be summertime loving, isn't it? I only go when it's sun shining. I'm only going when it's sun shining.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, I want to get let's start off with thoughts so far this season, Gaz. What are you thinking?
Oh, mate, talk about your mate being at theme parks. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? I just after 5 games, I've been through all the emotions. I was desperate for Grealish not to leave. I just thought with the club's owners being as ambitious as they are and what they were putting out...
You were convinced. I was convinced
he was going to... Well, I was convinced he was going to stay. I thought they were just going to offer him the world and go, we're going to build a team around you and, stay with us, give us 3 seasons. And if we're not in the Champions League, then, bit like Coutinho now, take your payday, go away at 29 and go wherever you want to go. It didn't happen. The traitor left... Oh, I'm
not going to lie, right? I'm not going to lie. I completely forgot that was this season.
Oh, mate.
It's been so long, and I'm not... And
a lot's happened, hasn't it?
In a bit. Well, we'll get onto him in a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not missing him.
No. Well, we've turned a corner, I think, hopefully. But obviously, I think when Dean Smith was still in charge, we lost the dressing room and we started off okay, didn't we? But then obviously the 5-game slump was massive, and then we were in trouble because we looked like a team that weren't playing for the manager, and we looked like we were going to go down in that kind of form. It was relegation form. Oh God, the dogs just come to say hello. Right, not today. And then when they sacked him, I just thought, what are you going to go for? Do you know what I mean? Realistically, if you talk with how they were speaking about the ambition of where they want to go, just didn't see Gerrard as my first choice, if I'm honest. So I think I said to you at the time, I'm going to sit on the fence, no judgment, because I loved the man as a player. Do you know what I mean? I thought he was world class, and he was loyal to Liverpool. And I think what would be interesting if Grealish had stayed, being managed by Gerrard. Do you know what I mean? That'd have been interesting. Anyway, but now he's here.
You know what? You know what would have been super interesting, or it might not have happened because of the situation. Grealish and Coutinho in the same team. Oh,
mate!
Wow!
I tell you, that would have been.
That'd have been.
I think we'd have been living the dream. But we'll get to Coutinho in a minute. But I think with Gerrard's, he's just won me over completely. I think in the media and kind of, and there's been a complete change in the way we play. And yes, we've had some up and down results, but I just, he's ironing crap out, isn't he? Let's be honest. I think, it will. I think, strangely, I hate Michael Owen, right? But he said something on BT Sport about kind of when Klopp first went to Liverpool about going, this is the way I'm going to play. And it kind of irons out Deadwood and he exposes players that aren't good enough. So let's see what happens. I think this season's a write-off for me. Wherever we finish, as long as it's not relegation, we stay, between where we are, possibly a top half finish. That would be amazing. And then, whole summer transfer window, pre-season beyond on your belt, and then next season, mate, I want top 4. Right?
Wow.
First port of business, right? Start selling your kids, get Coutinho like in, right? So if Gerrard has to sell his daughter to, she's of age now, send her to Barca, right? Let's get Coutinho in.
I tell you what, right? So we'll get on to Coutinho soon. Actually, no. Let's just get on to Coutinho now. The thing everyone keeps talking about this clause, like where was it, £33 million or something? We can have him permanently. That's not the barrier, though, right? The barrier is his wages.
Yeah. The barrier is the wages.
Like for us to get a player like that, we literally have to blow our wage structure completely out the water.
Oh, mate, let's just do it on performance based then. Right, let's just say to all that let's change the world. Let's change the Villa structure completely. I'll speak to Perslow myself and just say, right, okay, right, pay him what he's worth. Then, but
then you do that. Then you go, right, okay. So Mings wants X. You got even players like Ramsey and stuff who are performing well. You got players like Martinez just signed a new contract. Blah blah blah. Even if he took a 50% wage cut, that's 150k a week, which is miles beyond anything an era players are on. So unless he's willing to take a massive cut and just enjoy playing there, which you see, we always say about footballers being loyal or humble or whatever. Money talks at the end of the day, and money it always comes down to money. And if we can't offer it, and say, for instance, Newcastle come in.
If it comes to Newcastle, mate, it's World War III. Forget Putin.
We don't need Putin.
No, we don't. Okay, I've got two thoughts on this. I think first one would be we've got to break the wage structure at some point. If we're seriously about going into top four, we've got to start paying big time wages. Right, so we could break the mould, and I think players have got to accept that. And if anyone is moaning about not being on enough money, then cheerio. Do you know what I mean? You start building. But again, as a lighter note, I'd go back to training, mate. I bet watching Coutinho in training is almost orgasmic. I bet players because from what I've seen on a football field, mate, he's cut from a different cloth. I will say this.
Did you see his stats? Well,
Yeah.
I think you sent them actually through. You sent them through. I've robbed these from your WhatsApp. So he had 42. This was against Southampton. He had 42 touches, 91% pass accuracy, 2 key passes, and an assist and a goal. That's all in his fifth, sixth game for us.
Yeah. Do you know what that adds up to, mate? Right, let me just do the maths. Oh, look, that's £300,000 a week. Providing he does it week in, week out. But I've seen enough little glimpses in most games, even when we've lost and been poor, just his touch, his movement, it's different. It's world class, mate.
He's different gravy. He's different gravy.
When I was out on Saturday, I was speaking to a Liverpool fan, mate, and he was buzzing about Coutinho, literally they were gutted when they sold him and still wish they could have had him back, even at when we sold him,
Well, you say that right then. What happens if that happens?
I don't think he'd go back to Liverpool. I don't think Klopp would use him as a main man. I think he wants to be playing week in, week out. I think the key is his money, and can we say to him, are you willing to play a season without European football? That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
I think at the end of the day, he's experienced what can happen when you go to a massive club and you're paid a ridiculous amount of money, and he's seen what can happen to his career, and he's not, he was depressed. He wasn't playing football. He was sad. He wasn't enjoying it at all. He's come to Villa and he's massively happy. So it's all about whether we can agree a kind of package with him. Who was it? I think I was speaking to the father-in-law, and he was saying, could you do something like what Derby did with Rooney, with a kind of a sponsor paid part wage packet, blah blah blah. But I feel like we're big enough to kind of look to move on to the next level, like you said, and not rip up the wage structure, but kind of go. I think the players would understand. You go, fuck's sake, it's Phillipe Coutinho. He's like the third highest transfer, value player of all time. Mate, if you're sitting there going, I should be paid the same as Phillipe, you're a complete moron.
Mate, he's won everything as well. He's got the experience. I think you would sit the players down.
As the chain goes.
Yeah, I would literally sit them down with a highlight reel at the end of the season and go, he's worth the mustard, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest. Yeah. I think that is the first port of Gerrard's call in the summer, is to get that, or wherever it be, May at the end of the season, to get his signing. Because if he gets that signing, not only that, he will attract bigger players. So if Gerrard has got an idea of who he wants to bring in, right? So and then that will determine whether we can actually realistically push for a top 4 spot. You know, obviously, Europe's got to be a goal next year. Champions League's breaking top 4 is massive. But if you keep Coutinho and you make 1 or 2 signings, you know, possibly another striker, like a defensive midfielder, we've got a lot of mixture of youth and experience that could really, you know, push it a bit. The way we played against Southampton, mate, that was... I was gutted I wasn't there, but I've watched the highlights.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought, it's the one game I'm going to miss this season. Stupid going out, getting drunk. Right? They were an informed side. I watched them midweek again in the FA Cup against West Ham, and they were absolutely brilliant. I thought, even with their second string, and you know, looking at their previous results, I thought they're going to turn us over again. Do you know what I mean? And well, we battered them literally battered them.
I thought we were going to get a draw there. So maybe on to the Southampton game. Have you seen the goals and stuff?
Yeah, man. Of course, I've watched them numerous times, haven't I?
I tell you what, all of them goals were like that second goal. Chambers' ball, like outside the boot, over the top to. I mean, even just the square from Coutinho, it just literally killed the ball dead.
Yeah.
Like a lot of players would like it would. It'd be a bit too fast, or it'd go off and maybe go to the keeper.
Oh, mate, he made it look so easy, didn't he?
So yeah, it was unbelievable. His run, oh my god! I was literally like, "How's he not offside?"
Yeah, well,
like, that is
the guy who was marking him was stood there for like 5 minutes, going, "He's offside, he's offside." I'm like, just hoping for the flag to go up, and he's like, "VAR, go to VAR."
It's a shame because he could have had a hat trick in the first half.
Oh, mate,
Coutinho. That's the only criticism I would have had in that game, is that I'm like, you should have scored 2 or 3.
Although I think we do have to just go back to the Callum Chambers pass, mate, because if Coutinho had made that pass, mate, it was a beautiful pass.
Unbelievable. So on that, does Conser come back in tomorrow?
I think it's difficult. You don't change it. For me, as an old style footballer, I think if you don't change a winning team. Do you know what I mean? It's your place is there to earn, because otherwise, what's the point of having a competition? If you play really well one week and then you drop the next, you get disgruntled. So
equally though, I'd say that I don't think it was this team, because we played the 2 up front in the last 2 games, haven't we? So Brighton and Southampton. But equally, it was a very, very similar 11 to Watford. Like, as in the back 4. I think we're the same back 4. Other than we had Ashley Young, didn't we? But yeah, so it's like Chambers has done that, and it's like there's a winning, like winning team. It's a weird one with Villa, because I always go back to that Watford game, which is the last game we went to at home, and that was depressing. And I'm literally like, how have you gone from, what was it? We had a big result before as well. No, we lost to Newcastle.
We lost to
Watford.
We beat,
and then we've gone on and beaten Brighton and Southampton.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
How? I think we even said it when we left. We left that Watford game, and we were like, we're going to go and bloody beat the next 2 now, and then we're going to be like, we could have had 4 wins.
Yeah. I think the crucial difference is both Newcastle and Watford set up to play 2 banks of 4.
I think we spoke about this, didn't we? Yeah.
And Southampton were never going to do that. They weren't going to come and defend us, and thankfully. Yeah. You probably should have against Coutinho, because he's just proven you give him time and space, he'll destroy you, and that's what happened. He was just in that little pocket, and every time he picked up the ball, he just created space and gaps for everybody else. Against Newcastle and against Watford, that didn't happen, because they knew it, and that is the classic old of where we're still a little bit of hangover from Dean Smith. We can't break teams down. We can't, because what we're doing is relying on one man to kind of do it, and none of, if I'm honest, apart from the last 2 games, I thought Danny Ings and Watkins were done, mate. They looked like they weren't interested. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, yeah. No, well, it is weird, isn't it? Like, you'll see Watkins looked really dejected, looked like he wasn't bothered at all, wasn't really like running after things, didn't look confident, he wasn't holding the ball up well. Then you had Danny Ings on, who would come on, he'd just kind of be just missing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really do much in the game. And then all of a sudden, we put them together again, and all of a sudden, they're suddenly... Now, I mean, that first goal What a turn,
mate.
I was literally like, what was it, Cruyff turn?
Yeah.
I was literally like, what have you done there?
It was
Where's
almost,
that been?
it was almost like slow motion, mate. Like, it felt like it was.
Yeah.
I thought, how's he got? He's just done it. And I don't know. Maybe it's just a question of because in between the two games, in between the Newcastle loss and Watford loss, and then the Brighton game, I did read on various Villa forums that Gerrard had them both in and said, "Look, I want to play you both together. I don't want one of you sitting on the bench. You both goal scorers. We want to score goals." So maybe he said something or whatever they've done in training, and maybe it's turned. The ultimate key now will be Thursday against Leeds, the consistency. Because Leeds, again, coming and said, won't. Well, I don't know. They've sacked their manager at night, but if it had been a Bielsa Leeds,
mate, it's absolutely typical.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this. I feel like every fan says this about their team, that they've had this massive losing streak. They've conceded 10 in their last 2. Then they changed their manager for the Villa game. I'm like, for God's sake. Like, yeah, because who was it they played last week? I can't remember who played, but they looked surer at the back.
Yeah.
They looked more kind of.
They lost 1-0, didn't they?
Defensive. Yeah. It was 1-0.
So, but if you've got.
Nice leg.
Thank you. If you're building something, right, I'm stretching out because I'm sitting on the bed. Got to be comfy. If you're building something with any team, and it's difficult because no match can be 100% perfect. You can't play like we get it against Southampton in every game, right? But you've got to try and start bringing some consistency. So whatever it is, you've got to be able to kind of go, okay, there's strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to keep doing. We play a certain way. Until you don't play a certain way, until you have to change it. So I think there's still the jury's still out in terms of can we adapt during actual games? Is our game management good enough to do it? And if I'm honest, right, I watched the Champions League game Liverpool into yesterday, and obviously Liverpool didn't have to do anything yesterday, which is why they didn't. They played a weakened side, and just thought, right, okay, it's down to Inter to kind of come and attack us. And even when they went 1-0 down. It's just total game management. It's really. Oh my God! Shush. Apologies, guys. The dog is.
It's all right.
The dog doesn't agree with game management. But she's wrong. She doesn't know anything. She's headless chicken. She just chases the ball all around the pitch, which is what we've got to stop doing. So hopefully, mate, I think if we can get a bit of consistency, and like Leeds will ultimately, like you say, maybe they'll be a bit surer at the back, but. If with that front three, and then with Ramsey and Luiz behind, if we continue to play that way, what it does, if you can either free up space for Coutinho, it allows other people to play. Now, for me, Coutinho's got the minerals to actually make things happen. Like, if you look at the first goal against Southampton, he drops deep to pick up the ball from Mings, plays more or less a first-time pass straight into Ings' feet, and it's too quick, and you can't defend against that. And he did the same against Leeds, and he did the same against Man United when he came on. It's getting him on the ball. Again, if I'm honest, I think I said to you against the Newcastle game, we didn't even try and play balls into him. It was just it was Chambers and Mings just passing to each other and then lumping it forward to Coutinho to try and win in the air. You're like, what are we doing?
It'll be interesting to see if and how they've learned, because obviously we didn't play Leeds that long ago. In that absolute thriller, it'll be interesting to see if they've learned from that game, because you noticed that I think it was Ayling. No, was it Ayling who was marking him? And because in the first half he was touch tight. He was touch tight on him, and Coutinho, oh my God, that turn just literally rinsed him, pirouetted round, done in that ball into Ramsey.
Yeah, the first time pass. World class, mate. I still dream about that.
Second half, but then. So you're waking up with sticky sheets,
mate. I'm not even going to lie; it turned me on.
I was at that game with you. I don't want to know.
We were hugging, mate.
Oh God! And then second half, he was giving him space. He was sitting off him, which meant he couldn't turn him, and he could have a better chance of like trying to get at him. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of don't play the press quite so high, because they know that. If he turns you, we're in.
Yeah.
And they'll leave massive space behind. But interesting one. You just mentioned Douglas Luiz. How did you feel? I thought he had a pretty good. game. I now there's two things here. I love Douglas Luiz. I think Douglas Luiz is. I've said he's different gravy. Obviously, Coutinho's like Douglas Luiz is like Bisto.
Yeah.
Coutinho's I don't know, freshly made.
Jamie Oliver kind of beef dripping kind of like gravy.
Exactly.
It's Christmas dinner gravy, that isn't it? That's what Coutinho is.
Exactly. Yeah. The Christmas dinner gravy. I've just been reading around and I've seen we've actually been linked with Calvin Phillips in the summer, and I think the main thing around that is we're monitoring if Leeds go down.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Definitely could do.
Come on.
Yeah.
We hate Leeds.
Hopefully,
we hate Leeds.
I absolutely hate Leeds. I always talk about on this podcast like I hate Leeds.
Well, it's because I've got the greatest chant in the world, haven't I? We love Leeds.
It's Leeds. We all love Leeds. And then Leeds. Just like what's going on. I think I said to you, I was like, they're a simple folk.
Yeah.
But so for instance, right. So this, and I think this, and it's difficult because I think I was listening to Claret and Blue podcast. I've been listening to like the Villa View and stuff, and obviously you need a squad, right? You can't just have your starting 11.
Yeah.
And until we're at that point where you're in Europe and stuff, it becomes harder to kind of like attract good talent who's happy to sit on the bench or and that kind of thing. So for instance, Douglas Luiz, if we brought in Calvin Phillips. Douglas Luiz, we know would probably play better further forward, but when you've got Ramsey, McGinn, Buendia, Coutinho, if you bring in a holding midfielder and he's sat on the bench, what do? How are you gonna?
Yeah, well,
it's a great problem to have. Like
it's a great problem to have. I think you just mentioned there that you have to push him further forward, which obviously means you have to sacrifice one of the others. Now. That could, I'm easy. It's easy to do that, I think, from an attacking point of view, because it gives you options. Because at the end of the day, one thing Gerrard will want to do, we've got to stop conceding goals. We need a holding midfielder desperately. We need a good one. Now, I'm not even saying that Nakamba can't do that. Nakamba was classed before he got injured.
We were so much better with Nakamba. And solid.
I think that was proven in our results when he was in the team. Because he just does the dirty stuff, right? And Calvin Phillips would be a great one. He's a wonderful footballer. But whether he'll leave Leeds, I don't know. If they get relegated, he'll definitely go. I can't see him staying. He's too good. But he won't want to jeopardise the England career for. So let's fingers crossed that he does go. But there's lots of speculation that Man United want him. But I don't know.
Man United also want John McGinn.
Well, they can.
Which is
one of the better than get fucked, mate.
Do one. Literally do one. A quick one on Buendia. So he's not getting a look in now at the moment with this new system we're playing. Unless Gerrard might go actually against Leeds. You know what? I don't want to play the two up front. I want to play one up front, two number 10s. Yeah. So I feel sorry for Buendia. Like he's started playing so well with Coutinho. He's been linking up so well, and now they've changed the system, and now he's out. So.
Well, I think the Newcastle and the Watford game have pretty much screwed him over because he was arguably our worst player in both games, poor in possession. But prior to that, he'd had 3 games where he was awesome. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he was really good.
I remember whenever we took him off, everything to kind of like we had no real drive going forward whenever he came off.
I think unfortunately he will have to probably play second fiddle to Ramsey, and he'll be happy with that or he won't. But I can't. There's no way. I think Gerrard is going to focus on doing everything he can to keep Coutinho happy. And clearly Coutinho and Ramsey play well together. You've got Coutinho and Luiz, Brazilian connection. You need that connection throughout your whole squad. So I do feel for Buendia because I actually started slowly this season, didn't he? And we were all kind of like, don't see much, keep giving the ball away sloppily, just miles off the pace. But all you can do is ask players to work hard and kind of do that. And he did that, and he showed that he can play. So I think he's great to have in the squad. It's whether he wants to stay around and play, and play for his place, or if he's. I can't imagine anyone saying to Gerrard, "Right, I'm first name on the team sheet." Because you'll just look at stats and go, well, actually, because you could say to Buendia, well, actually, you give the ball away the most. Yeah, you did 3 nice things, but you when you've got someone like Coutinho who's 91% pass completion, see what I mean? Yeah. It's all stats based, isn't it?
I think the thing that I always worry about, and it was the same when we had Grealish, is that we will become too reliant on Coutinho. He's 29. He's turning 30, right?
Yeah.
He's turning 30. But say for instance, worst happens and he doesn't stay, then we're like, oh fuck, we're massively kind of fucked because we've built this team, not built the team around him, but everyone's kind of like he's the man, and then you're then relying on Buendia, a guy who's been sat on the bench, to now step up and come back in again.
Yeah, mate. Buendia couldn't fill Grealish's boots. He ain't going to fill Coutinho's, right? So, I mean, that's the worry, isn't it? That Coutinho doesn't get done, and then we are searching for that. Because every team needs star players. So, like I say, for me, that's got to be Gerrard's first port of call in the summer to get his signature over the door. Because otherwise, we've got to find players. Like you say, yeah, Buendia can step in and do a job, but he's not going to. He hasn't brought the quality that Coutinho's brought. Yeah. So that's changed games, mate. It's won us games. Like Coutinho basically won us the game against Southampton. Even if you just take his stats alone, it's enough to kind of win the game 3-0, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So
he got us a point against Man U as well in his first game back and stuff. So
So
he's priceless, really.
He's priceless. So if we don't, I mean, I can't. If something's kind of mar up here in terms of what the owners are saying and what happens on the pitch, because quite clearly the owners are driving forward and want European football. So if that is the and I'm not just thinking European football, I think I want Champions League football. So you've got to go from strength to strength. Money's got to be invested. You've got, as we talked about earlier, you've got to break the wage structure. You've got to kind of, it's, like you said, the problem is it's difficult. There's no European football now, so Europe has to happen next year, whether that be Europa League, Europa Conference League, or the Champions League. It has to happen because it becomes impossible to please your squad. Because at least with, if you look at, again, I only can say if you look at Man City, Liverpool, all these games and Champions League games go on. Like tomorrow, Pep will probably, or tonight when they play Sporting, they're 5-0 up, they'll just play second string and rest everybody. But everyone wants to play the Champions League, so it's still a competitive game. Do you know what I mean? It's like yesterday, Liverpool did the same. Curtis Jones was left out of the Carabao Cup final, but he's playing in the Champions League, which means on a bigger stage. So players will always be kept happy by playing at the highest level. Do you know what I mean? And we can't offer that at the moment because the Premier League's the highest we can offer. So we need that. So not that I want to put my eggs in the basket. I mean, it should be okay. It doesn't matter whether we qualify for it or not. We're going to be there regardless. But if we're talking about, bringing Champions League Tuesdays to Villa Park, the champions, mate. I'll just throw it all in. I want it. I don't care. I'm getting it. I want to be there Tuesday night singing that from the top of my, just.
Oh, that's going to be a YouTube short. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to put that straight on.
It gotta be. Just me dressed as a Champions League football in the crowd. Just the champion. It'd be just like FIFA, mate. So that's my dream. Realistically, I think we could be 2 or 3 years away from that. I think, manage the expectations. So it's all about Gerrard's pull as a manager. And if anyone could keep Coutinho, it's him, because they've got a connection that runs deeper than just this season, doesn't it? That's my calling card. I think that's my top trump. It'd be like Gerrard can do this. He's got a decent relationship with Coutinho. He's played with him. He can show what the club's ambitions are and where we can actually go. Yeah. And actually sign Coutinho, get 3 solid years of him playing. He's still quality, mate. I can't believe how good he is. I can't believe how good he is. That's like we're talking like he's made me forget about Grealish. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's what I said. I said I forgot Grealish left this season, which is terrible. And I know everyone always keeps on saying like, oh, the Villa fans are all about him, and then he's left, and now he's dead to you, and all this stuff. And I'm like, look, I love Grealish. I've been watching him for Man City, and I feel for the guy because he's just playing completely out of the way that he plays. Yeah. He's been asked to play a totally different way. It's the same with the Dean Smith, right? I love Dean Smith. I absolutely loved Dean Smith. I really want Norwich to stay up. They're not going to.
No.
And I was desperate for them to stay up because I love the guy as a bloke. And then like the father-in-law's going, it's all about the Stevie G now, footballing genius. And I'm just like, no. I said, he's brilliant. What he's done has been great. Although 2 games ago, what was it? 1 win in 7.
Yeah. Mate, like I say,
it's not all rainbows.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and I think there will be lots of ups and downs. It's not going to be a straightforward climb, you know. Because we're still building the squad. So until we get a settled squad, you know, it took Klopp probably 4 years to develop a Liverpool squad that was worthy of winning the league. Do you know what I mean? So it's about being patient. It's about seeing progress, and that's kind of what we want to see as fans, and players give 110% for the shirt. Now, you know, just going back to your points on Dean Smith, mate, I'm with you. I love the guy. I wish him all the love in the world. I think there won't be a Villa manager that I don't remember as fondly, apart from maybe Big Ron Atkinson, because I was, you know, that's when I first started going to the Villa in 94, 95 sort of thing, and, you know, Brian Little and yeah, I know, but other than those two managers there, and before, like, I know there's Ron Saunders, but I was only 3 when we won the European Cup. I didn't have a clue what was going on.
What about Martin O'Neill?
Mate, I hated him. Mate, I did.
Oh, really?
I hated him.
You hated him as a bloke?
Yeah.
Did you didn't hate what he was doing to the team?
Well,
though?
obviously, we finished regular in the top 6 3 seasons in a row, right? Brilliant. But actually, looking back on it now, you kind of like, he only used 13 players. And every March, we had 3 years where in March we couldn't win a game because everyone was fucked. Do you know what I mean? So
sounds like Bielsa.
Yeah.
But he also paid Habib Bey $40,000 a week to sit on the bench, which is
well, yeah, and also just the way he left. And I know there's probably stuff we'll never know why he walked out, but like, you know, 2 weeks before the season kicks off is just not great, and then that was the demise of us, really. You know, 3 seasons later we were down, and so I don't remember that fun. Yeah, I don't even remember that and Martin O'Neill. But Dean Smith, when he came in, 15th in the Championship, mate. You know, we were, you know, where were all the 8,000 people waiting for season tickets when we were 15th in the Championship?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And we looked dead and buried. Like, Grealish was injured, like, kind of, you know, and he comes back. That game against Derby, I will never, ever, ever forget that for as long as I live, mate. 4-0. Like, I watched that and it's just right. And 10 games unbeaten in any league is massive. And so to go up the way we did and kind of like that, he'll live. His legacy will, I think.
I don't think it wasn't just 10 games unbeaten. Was it 10 wins?
10 wins. Mate, it just
10 wins is mental.
It was crazy. Like, it felt like we won the league. Do you know what I mean? That's how it felt like getting promoted that way. It was euphoric, you know, and for Jack to do it as well, and kind of, and that's why the Grealish thing hurt me when he left. To go through all that, to be part of that, right, and know that the owners were there and what they want to do, and just, you know, now unless the owner said to him, look, we've put this $100 million clause in your contract, you're gonna have to go. Maybe he didn't want to go, but had no choice. I don't know.
Well, they said, didn't they? They said, I think Perslow came out saying they put this clause in thinking no one would ever meet it. That's what their intention was. Just that they put it in. They were like, yeah, 100 mil. No one's paying that. Which kind of, like, for me, kind of actually they underestimated how good he was.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like going, well, 100 mil for an English player who's not that old, lighting up the league, that probably is okay. But anyway, so moving on.
Done and dusted.
Prediction for the season, though, Gaz. So you said you'd like top half. Top half would be great.
Top half would be.
What's your kind of like actual prediction?
I think we'll finish where we are now, about 11th.
Okay.
I think.
Just quickly look at the table.
We've got some tough fixtures coming up.
Yeah, we've got a game in hand on most above us, haven't we? And I think that's tomorrow.
Yeah. The Leeds one.
So, winning that, go 9th.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I mean, 11th would be. I'd love to say 10th. I think at the start of the season, I think I said 12th.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there is likely. Do you think it's crazy to even think like 8th?
No.
Does the Conference League drop down with the FA Cup and League Cup winners?
Not sure how it works. I don't know how it works with the Conference League. That's new, and that's. I mean, again, let's face it, that's a Mickey Mouse European thing, and it's just made up.
I'll take it, mate.
Well, I'll take it, but it's like, let's just make up something.
I don't give a shit if it's Europa Conference Mickey Mouse Women's League. I don't care.
So in my head, mate, being a Villa fan for as long as I've been, right, I always think worst case scenario. So let's go with 11th. My expectation, what I'd love, is think we should absolutely be striving for 7th or 8th. We've got winnable games in there. Play like we did against Southampton consistently for the rest of the season. We'll beat anybody. You've got to do it consistently, and that's the key. The biggest letdown for Villa in the last 7 years has been inconsistency. We've had like, little runs where we've played really well and looked like we've been unbeatable, and then you go and lose to Norwich or kind of what? Do you know what I mean? It's like you kind of like what? Losing to Watford and Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle was different because they were playing. They'd started to play well when we came up against them, but
is it 4 wins on the trot? I think for Newcastle now.
But when the Watford fans are singing "How shit must you be? We're winning away," right? I just wanted to punch everybody.
That was grim.
That was grim. That is definitely a worst moment of the season so far. Watford fans singing that. It's like, oh God, that's just awful. Awful.
It would have been worse. It would have been even worse if Troy Deeney was there.
We're
very lucky that he wasn't.
And I'm sure the fickle Villa fans are there already calling for Gerrard's head. 2 in a row, 1 in 7. Get rid of him. He doesn't know what he's doing.
There's that guy who's like 3 rows behind us who all he does is give everyone stick. He gives Ming stick for hoofing the ball. Gives Luis stick. Gives Buendia stick. And he's like, Cash, what's that? I'm like, mate, just shut up for once.
Mate,
God, they can all hear you because I can hear you.
People like him should be banned from football grounds. Honestly, right? It makes me sad that there's 8,000 people on it or 10,000 people on a waiting list for a season ticket. You got a knobhead like that behind us, and there's multiple of them who just literally go rubbish. What brain dead people. Right, I'm sorry. Right, I'm all for inclusion and stuff, but right, just have more disabled people in. Just have get rid of them rows behind us and put wheelchair seating in so we can have some more disabled supporters. That's more inclusive than having Tom Napoli going, Ming, stop hoofing at the ball, because he's obviously played at some decent level and he like with his kid in the park, dickhead. Right.
Amazing.
Can't go with
it. Struck a nerve there.
It's because I know you're talking about it. It's just come back to me. Mate.
It's that bloke. So it's that boy. He's like, fucking hell, mate.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Quickly going to talk about. So we're going to quickly move slightly off Villa. So we're going to quickly talk about the games coming up this weekend. We've actually got there's quite a few games tomorrow. I'm guessing it's all catch up. So there's Wolves, Watford, us and Leeds, Southampton, Newcastle, Norwich and Chelsea. I think we can safely say Norwich and Chelsea. Chelsea are going to win that one. Watford and Wolves, probably Wolves. Watford have picked up a bit of form, but they have shipped a few goals a couple of times. I think for me, I feel like actually let's skip fixtures because that'll take too long. But let's go to table. Relegation, Norwich and Watford for me are dead and buried in my opinion. Out of Burnley, Everton, Leeds, Brentford, Newcastle.
So if
who is it?
Okay, in my heart of heart, as we said earlier, I hope Leeds get relegated. I really hope they go down. Right? I just can't stand how much the media love them for whatever reason. Right? Some big club, whatever. Same. Right? They had one good side in the 70s. Right? I suppose you could say about the same. Must have had one good side in the 80s. But anyway, right.
Yeah,
Everton. I mean, I'd like to, if I'm honest, right? Everton have never been relegated, so I'd like to see that. But I think Burnley will have enough to get out of it because they are escape artists. Sean Dyche has got the experience to get them out of it. I think they always come good.
Yeah.
So I would go, like I say, my heart wants Leeds, but I think it's between Everton and Leeds. Next 2 games will determine.
Oh, so you know what, right? I think Brentford are a shout for going down. Because at the moment, the interesting thing is actually the games coming up. Leeds, Everton, Burnley, Watford, Brentford, all them. They're all playing each other. So actually, Brentford have been dropping like an absolute stone. They just beat Watford, right? But like I said, Watford and Norwich I think are down. They're if I look at their fixtures, Brentford.
They beat Norwich quite comfortably the other day, didn't they? 3-1.
Yeah, but so they've got Burnley next.
That's a massive game.
And then before the end of the season, they've got Watford again. They've got Leeds last game of the season, and one before last game they've got Everton.
Oh.
So what I mean is,
You know,
they're dropping like a stone. They really are, and they don't look good at all, really.
Well, here's a scenario for you.
Brentford...
This is what I would like. Last day of the season, did you say Brentford got to play Leeds last day of the season?
Yeah.
So Brentford to beat Leeds on the last day of the season, stay up, and Leeds to go down.
Oh, how great would that be?
What that'd be.
I absolutely love it. We'd sign Calvin Phillips in the summer, all sorted.
And also,
more than happy.
We've got Man City last game of the season, haven't we? Right, us to beat Man City, finish 7th, qualify for Europe, and then to lose the leagues by 1 point to Liverpool or something like that. and Grealish goes over with fuck all.
I wonder what the odds are on that bet. Jesus Christ, that must be ridiculous. Yes. It's like when I said to you, what was it, Spurs Man City? Wasn't it 13-1?
Yeah. I have a bet. I fancied them. I said to you, I bet you Spurs turn them over, and they did. Harry Kane wanted to put himself through the shop window again, didn't he? He did.
Yeah. Well,
he wants to move, mate. He ain't going to be at Spurs next season. Yeah. He'll be gone. So that's my dream scenario. So Brentford to beat Leeds last game of the season. Leeds go down. Us to beat Man City and Liverpool to win the league, and Jack Grealish go home with sweet FA.
I'll work out the odds for that. Oh, and I'll try and see if I can put.
And for Liverpool to beat Man City in the Champions League final. So Liverpool will get the. I don't.
There's no bitterness at all.
There's no bitterness.
No bitterness
I'm
at
over
all.
It, mate. Who's Grealish? You?
Jackie, you. And Champions League, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U, West Ham, Spurs.
To finish Champions League places, you mean top 4?
Yeah. So I think we know Man City, Liverpool, right, and probably Chelsea, maybe, or Arsenal are right in there.
I think the top 3 will be as they are. In top 2, I don't know what order. We'll see. It all depends on if Liverpool need to win. If Liverpool beat Man City and win their game in hand and get level on points, I think it'll be difficult. Watched Arsenal the other day against Watford and last couple of games. Watched last couple of Arsenal games actually, and they've looked pretty decent. Odegaard and Lacazette, and since Aubameyang's gone, I think they've put it together. And they've got games in hand as well, haven't they? They've got games in hand against Man United, West Ham, so it's theirs to lose really. So I'd fancy Arsenal to finish 4th. But you never know. Nice. Football's a funny old game. If it was that easy to predict, then I'd be a millionaire.
Exactly. Well, awesome. I'm going to leave it there, but thank you so much, guys, for coming on. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thanks for any time, mate. That was fun. Always good to chat all things claret and blue. Do you know what I mean? So it can be quite sad at times. Good. Let's be honest, but this one's been a positive one. Coutinho, get it done.
Brilliant. Well, get it sorted. Right, well, thank you guys for joining, and we'll be back probably, I think, next Tuesday. I'm hoping to get another guest on. This time, I think it'll be a Newcastle fan, so that'll be an interesting kind of viewpoint there based on how they're currently playing. So, thanks as always. Subscribe, like, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.